There's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch. Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them. You guys, tonight we're doing another DJ stream.
Yes, sirree, Bobbert.
Mojo. Unfortunately, we had to
switch it around last week because Vinny here was sick.
Yeah.
Everybody in the house has been getting sick.
Yeah, we've got the plague running through.
I'm not feeling so well myself. It's a little pale.
House Vin and Sorensen.
Mm-hmm. That's all right.
First? No, Goth Mama beat you, Mojo.
But you're here. Okay, so the name.
Also, so Sori's mic is good. Is my mic okay? You guys know I got mic problems. Let me know if my mic is okay. Okay, so you're sick too. So probably
we'll all be sick together.
Probably in a week, G-Mom, we're gonna hear there's a new
variant,
Corona variant, whatever that we've been struck with.
The babies have been like grossly sick, and I haven't been able to smell it. So I'm like, that's a sign. That's a sign of the COVID stuff. And because I'm pregnant, my sense of smell is usually like way more intense. So I'm like, that's not good.
Well, what better way to shake off the old sick bugs than
to have a stream. All right, so we're doing the 6 Degrees of Separation classic metal live stream.
Bada bing, bada boom.
The Big Homie Mojo said, this is a classic hard rock heavy metal stream featuring songs sung by a few of my favorite singers in the genre. Most of these songs are not the first songs that would come to mind when the singers' names are mentioned. The first singer is John Olivia. You may recognize his name as the singer and co-founder of Savatage. We won't be listening to Savatage tonight. That'll be another night. Instead, we will listen to 2 tracks from Dr. Butcher, a side project he worked on with a mate, Chris Caffrey, and released in 1994. At this period in Savatage's career, they're moving in more of a commercial direction, but John was still writing really heavy and outrageous songs. He needed an outlet for these, so Dr. Butcher was born. This is a record not a lot of people even know exists, even Savatage fans. These 2 tracks are my favorites, but the whole record is amazing. Song 1 is The Altar. And The Altar is about the Catholic Church sex abuse scandal.
Oh boy. Ooh. Yikey yikes. Okay guys, here we go. Dr. Butcher, The Altar. What is it? The 6 Degrees of Separation?
6 Degrees of Separation classic metal live stream.
I am a fan. Is it me or is Sori's mic distorted? Well, yeah, it'll be distorted because I put her gain all the way to the other side of the world. So that might have been the problem. I think if Sori talks now, it's not going to destroy your eardrums.
Hey, how is that?
All right, guys, Here we go. Song numero uno, Dr. Butcher, The Altar, Vin and Sori, Mojo, let's do it. Interesting.
Stained glass lights the way. On the knees, the congregation prays. Collection plate is passed away. Jesus looks down from the sky. Tear fills his eyes. In the fires of hell, you all pay.
Wow. Okay.
I can deal with this right now.
In the rectory basement of sin, I'm eating ready to begin. Sunset in the eyes
Yo!
That was that was really heavy, and it almost had like a devilish sound to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The dude
I thought that he did well.
Dude, I was gonna say, dude played that role perfectly. Holy smokes, man!
Yeah.
This guy can write. His use of subtlety is brilliant. So, for example, he says, the priest is playing his organ again.
Yeah.
Right, because in the church you have the organ.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
But it's a nasty ass pedophile. So just
I thought that's
the use
what
of
he
double
did with
entendre
that,
was brilliant.
But then I was like, wait, am I just taking that way too far? Because it's a little disturbing. You know what I mean?
Well, it's very disturbing. I mean, it's
just the way it's worded. It was a little shocking.
priests.
Yeah, obviously the whole topic is.
Yeah.
But wording it like that was like, I've never heard it worded like that. So
Yeah.
it kind of like hit me. I was like, wait, am I taking this like in a different route than what they meant? But you made a reaction when that part came up. So I'm like, first you made a reaction when that part came up, and I was like, wait, what does that mean? And then I read it, and then I was like, okay, well, what would make Vin make that face? And then that was literally the only explanation that I could come up with. And I was like,
I think, it was clearly a double entendre. But, like, that wasn't the worst of it. I mean, here, searching, Mother Mary finds the tunnels of love, touching in the name of the Lord above. I mean, that...
Oh, God.
That is probably the most blasphemous line of all. Mother Mary is searching to find the tunnels of love.
Yeah,
which actually which is an interesting twist, because it actually makes the nun and a nun also a perpetrator. Because it's saying Mother Mary searches until she finds the tunnel of love. Mary is feminine, so. I mean, he could be metaphorically just saying that Mary and God are like the main icons of the Catholic Church, or he could be saying that because just as the priest stands in the place of Christ, that the nun would stand in the place of
Yeah,
Mary.
maybe you're right. I didn't think that. I just thought it was like, you know how they'll say, like, there was that documentary, what was it called? The Seeker. It was like somewhere.
Keepers.
The Keepers.
Yeah.
Or The Keepers, or just Keepers?
I think it's called Keepers.
And it was about this topic, and it was absolutely horrific to hear. It was really, really terrible. In fact, if I wasn't watching with you and that other person, I would never have even finished it, probably. Yeah. But, there was like a lot of, and you kind of hear this where they'll make it seem like, well, they're holy and they're going to give you their holiness, and then this is the way that happens. And so when it said Mother Mary finds the tunnel of love touching, I didn't know if he was even not just saying, remember how the guy was basically saying, like, if for you to get the holiness that God has, I have it in me, and I have to do this to you to be able to pass it to you.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if they were invoking Mary in the situation as well, and say that Mary through me touches you to find the tunnels of life. You know what I mean? Like, I've not heard, maybe it was in that documentary and I don't remember it, but I've not heard of the nuns doing it. Not that it would surprise me that they did.
I'm almost certain that the nuns have done it.
I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I just...
The instances of deviancy like that among women are smaller, but they're there. They exist.
Yeah.
And that is a perfect environment for that type of
that's just
stuff to exist. Especially, I would actually venture to say that stuff probably happens more frequently among women than it does among men. Actually, you put a bunch of women together and there's this crazy authority structure and there's no men there. Please. I'm almost certain that's par for the course, because my theory with women in that issue already anyway.
Yeah, you're saying women with other women. You're not saying women with children.
Well, I mean, look, a lot of these nuns, when they come into the convent, they're a year older than Dorian. I mean, he's 16, 17. So, but same thing with children. Yeah, I believe. Yeah. I think 100%. I think both of them. I think both of them, the priests and the nuns, are doing. the priest obviously, and rightly so, get most of the attention. But you cannot tell me that there isn't. I'm sure if I'd find in 2 seconds if I Googled nun, child molester, that I would find something.
Yeah.
So, I look. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. One thing a couple things is.
Zombieholic says nuns have done just as bad as the priests. Some much worse.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think. I know how you view those things, but go ahead.
Well, at this point, it's more. I don't want it to be so. I want to think that, the kids are a little more safe. Around. Oh God, if that's. Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, so this came out in 1994. So, when I don't remember when was it kind of like? I know that before it.
Survivors of sex abuse by nuns, national resources for sex abuse survivors, including nuns. Survivors of sexual abuse by nuns. I mean, it's all over the place for sure.
Oh God, that's so sad.
So I think the song is about both actually.
Yeah, I
it's
mean you're
about
probably
the man
right.
And the man and the women who are using their political capital or religious capital in this context, or perceived capital in this context, to cash in, to take advantage of innocent, unassuming people.
Oh yeah. So I remember. Okay, so my family, both sides, my mom and my dad's side, were both Catholic. Like, especially like my mom's side was a lot more hardcore Catholic, like following it like religiously, like almost to worship the religion in a sense, And I remember my friends saying that about the Catholic Church and saying that that the priests were molesting the kids. And obviously I believed it right away because my parents left the Catholic Church and they were Protestants. So that was like, the whole point is you are against the Catholic Church. Like they were very like, Vinny wears his cross and my mother's like, oh God, my mom's a Christian, but the whole Mary thing, it's a very uncomfortable topic for them. So anyway, so I remember my friends saying that was happening and I believed it right away because the way that my parents reacted to Catholicism, I thought, oh, for sure. I mean, wow, I'm not surprised at all. And then I remember being at a certain age and either hearing the discussion taking place or bringing it up myself, and I couldn't tell you, with my grandfather, who's a very hardcore Catholic. And he denied the thing, top to bottom, that was happening in the Catholic Church. Like, that is completely outrageous. That is not happening. And all the other Catholics in the room denied it ardently as well. And then, obviously you hear it more and more and more and more. And then you start questioning it like, well, wait a minute. Why is everybody saying this? But then you don't know if it's one of those situations where a group of people has been demonized, and so that's why they're saying that about the priest. Although the logic that people were saying made sense to me, they were like, you're taking men and you're putting them in a situation where they cannot have sex, they cannot get married, and they're supposed to live their entire life like that. But Paul in the Bible talked about that some people are gifted that way. It's not something that you're like, but I think that a lot of times from backroom discussions that I was hearing, a lot of times people that already had sexual dysfunctions that was unacceptable in their society, they were told, well, the reason that you're like that is because you're supposed to be a priest. Yeah, so then they landed in situations in power over kids, blah, blah, blah. So again, how much of that I don't know.
I never bought that logic. So like these dudes are not able to have sex with women. So they go after the kids?
No, I think now...
Would they go after each other? Would it make more sense that the priest would go
with the nuns?
After each other? Or go after the nuns? Why would it be, I can't have sex, let me go violate a child?
That's why the other one made more sense to me. Like, they were already had other problems. Yeah. That was unacceptable, and so they were told, well, you're supposed to be in that field, and then you put them there, and then that obviously when it started coming out that this was literally happening and it was inexcusable, it was coming out in like bunches, like newspapers everywhere, like it was an explosion, and we realized, holy shit, this is really happening. Like that was really, really happening. And that was just craziness.
Yeah.
To see that unfolding, and now it's inexcusable. Like you can't even lie for them anymore and say no, that's not true. Like everybody knows that it happened. But one thing that I thought was really unique about this song in particular was that while the atrocity was done in the name of God, the author of the song recognized that this was not the way of God.
Yeah.
And he said,
he talks about Christ's eyes filling with tears, and he says,
yeah.
you're gonna go to hell.
Right,
basically. Yeah.
I like that because I think it's painful enough to have to realize that those things happen to you, or those things happen to the person that you love. But to think that God was just like standing by, not caring or not doing anything about it, or that, God was complicit in it, or that God doesn't even exist. I don't think any of those answer the pain of the question. But to me, like some real accountability, like, no, God was not okay with that. And the way that he puts it, I just thought that I think it's more extreme than that. I think that those things don't just make Jesus cry, but that he is literally full of rage when those things are happening, and rightly so. But the last thing I really thought was crazy was the way that he ended the line. So for us, some people are like, the altar? What is the altar? That's so weird. So basically, I'm not super familiar with the Catholic Church's representation of an altar. In a Protestant church, it was, like basically the stage of the church. And so, they would preach a sermon and they might say, if you feel God is tugging at your heart and you feel like you came here for a reason, you can come up to the front and we'll pray with you. You can give your life to the Lord, and you can start like a whole new beginning for your life now. And then they would invite you to come to the altar, and then at the altar you would, people would sit on the floor or stand, or it really was whatever you wanted. And then the leaders of the church would come and pray over you. And so I, for one, had really good experiences for the most part at the altar. So when he said crawl to the altar, play at the altar, and then you couldn't really hear what he was saying, something at the altar, die at the altar, that was just really sad to me, because when you take something that's supposed to be so wholesome and so good and you ruin it with sin to that degree, especially with children, it's, unforgivable is such the word doesn't, when you say that's unforgivable, the power behind it is more what I'm trying to communicate. But in this moment, I can't even really, but so that part to me was like, oh my gosh, just like hearing that, because it to me explained a little bit more, like it not explained, but it felt more like the horrible, because I have the positive experiences of the altar. When you say those things about it made it more, when somebody finds the perfect word to describe something, you're like, that's the fucking perfect word. Mm-hmm. It was like that, like the way that this crawl to the altar, play at the die, all of it was just so descriptive to me of something that I have such sweet memories of, but that some people have such horrible memories that for a lifetime they have to deal with.
It really highlights a crazy sort of principle. So here's Perkinos is talking about Paul's practicality in regard to how he managed sexuality. So Paul tells the Christian church, don't deprive each other physically, except by mutual consent and for a time, so you may devote yourselves to prayer, then come together again so that Satan will not tempt you through your lack of self-control.
He's talking about a husband and a wife.
Yeah, he's talking about a husband and wife. He's like, listen, you guys, look, you guys want to be all super spiritual or whatever, you're not going to eat food for X amount of days, you're going to abstain from sex. Okay, don't do that a lot, because if you try to make yourself too spiritual and deny all worldly pleasure, you're going to fall into the temptation of the devil. So he says, don't do that for he literally says, don't do it for extended periods of time, because it's impractical. Mm-hmm. The devil will get you after a couple days. Okay? He then says, hey, I wish everybody was like me, but each has its own gift from God. One has this gift, another has that. What he's saying is he had a special gift to where Paul didn't need sexuality or the specific kind of companionship that a spouse can bring you.
And he's saying that that's a supernatural gift that he specifically was given. But that other Christians have different gifts. So Paul did not impose this on people. He didn't say, hey, in order to be super spiritual, then the best thing you can do is be a celibate person for the rest of your life. He didn't even make that a category of what makes you an awesome person. He doesn't say, hey, everybody should be like me because I'm amazing. He's saying, this is a specific gift that I got from God. So he's not even taking any credit for it. He's just saying, I received this as a gift. Now, to the unmarried and the widows, I say this. It's good for them to remain unmarried, as I am. But if they cannot control themselves, let them marry, because it's better to marry than to burn with passion. So Paul is saying, in his mind, the ideal is that you're this gifted person who can do ministry 100% of the time from morning to rising. But he's like, most people aren't like that. So if you don't have that gift, then hurry up and get married so that you don't have all the sexual temptation that you're not going to be able to deal with. So literally, if we were just following the Bible, like, that's literally the trap that they fell into, right?
Yeah.
Trying to be super spiritual. We're going to, be the mothers and fathers of the church, so we're going to swear off sex forever. Well, then what happens? You swing the other way and you fall into all sorts of deviant traps of Satan. Which it's just a fascinating case study. Like the wisdom. This is why I say, like, that's why I love the Bible, because it's full of so much wisdom.
Yeah.
And then you can see it worked out.
Yeah.
Isn't it ironic that the people who have the strictest sexual standards have the craziest, sexual issues?
Yep. What about it? Exactly.
Like, that's crazy. Put that together. Anyway, that's pretty crazy. And then Amy says, what if you burn for someone that you cannot marry? That's called do a bunch of Hail Marys, Amy, and get a friend. Nothing can be done. Nothing can be done. Okay. While we're on this, as much as I love the church fathers, the Puritans, unironically, have far superior teaching on sex than the fathers did. I agree with that. I think the fathers fell into a little bit of Gnosticism and Docetism and did not enjoy the full range of joys that God has given us. That's for sure. Okay, what do you give the song?
Hey, what's up, River?
River in the house!
What do I give this one? I actually really enjoyed it. Well, enjoyed it in the musical sense. Topic, I obviously don't like even thinking about the topic, but I did appreciate it had. Okay, from my perspective, it had a sort of devilish sound, like
100%.
Music set enough on an edge where it was still like on, but it was off, and so that made it even more like I felt like that was really well done. And again, I like the fact that he said like that, Jesus wasn't in on that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really important for people to know and for people to hear. So I'm gonna actually go with a 9.2.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mojo came out strong with this one. I want to see what the rest of his set list looks like. But this is and he's a first-time DJ too. So, isn't he? Isn't this the first time he's DJ? I'm pretty sure it's the first time Mojo's
Yeah, it's the first time he's DJ'd.
So, not to put pressure on other DJs, but that's a very, very strong. I always like when they come out strong on song one. Very good. We got more metal for you. Stay where you are. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go.
Another Dr. Butcher song is up
Another
next.
Dr. Butcher song is on the way. We continue. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch. All right, you guys, the 6 Degrees of Separation Classic Metal live stream is in progress.
See, that's 10 times fast, losers.
The next song on the list is by Dr. Butcher again. This song is called Juice, but it's also connected to the chair. Juice is 1.5 minutes, mostly instrumental into the main song, The Chair. It's about, you guessed it, the electric chair.
Holy shit.
But John flips the script at the end and in a really ingenious way. I won't spoil it though. So here we go. Oh, I need the timestamp.
Timestamp is 32:15, Missy. All right, guys, here we go. This is Dr. Butcher, Juice, and the chair. Juice and the chair. Let's do it.
It's dying day. just rise. Now you got just like the light. Nowhere for you to run. Live it under the gun. Where to go? Another life is passing by. Down the mind with the constant pride. Such a lovely way to die. Oh yeah!
Jesus. Looking so hard.
Sight. Now you're gone just like the light. Nowhere for you to run. You left that under the gun. No. Another night is passing by. On the mind with the constant price. Such a lovely way to die. I reflect on the tears of my past. How this one it will be the last. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, deliver me to hell, where I will rose. Drugs, pills, school, that's where they move. Complications that arise from the desert to time. So it's not a good spree to let me do this destiny. No one's got to really care, just my pride in the trail. Oh yeah, yeah.
Chris Caffrey, you're a bad man.
This is the second time. Okay, so I first listened to the first song, and I wanted to hear the second one before I made this claim. But I really would love to be at one of their shows.
This band?
Yeah. Listen.
He looks like he'd have like legit stage presence, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that why you'd want to see him live? The stage.
Well,
presence?
no, it's not just that. It's that, I mean, he does it. I gotta get them to turn this. This doesn't make any sense.
Turn what?
We're listening to Middle America.
Hey,
Hey, you guys, this doesn't make any sense. We're streaming here.
yeah. My kids are watching my. They asked me. They're like, "You find it weird that your kids are watching your YouTube channel?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Okay.
I'd never do it."
Listen, this is so terrible. I can't believe I'm saying this publicly. But sometimes, Vin and I don't always agree, right? So sometimes we get frustrated with each other. And then sometimes we're like annoyed with each other and we still do everything together. We work, we sleep, we live, we eat, everything together. And then sometimes like Vin will take like an extended shower or something. So I'll get like a couple of hours to like kind of like regroup from my frustration. And guess what? I go to the living room. The kids are watching Middle America. I go to the kitchen. They're watching more. I'm like, what? I can't escape.
You can never leave.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, well, stage presence, yes, but also like, I really like the energy that he puts off. And secondly, I feel like, I mean, of course, this could be my Mojo's design, but like there's some meaningful stuff in here that makes you think, just like the last one did.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if his entire repertoire is like that, or if this is just Mojo picking the most meaningful songs, or whatever, and putting them forward. But the ending of the song, like,
yeah, that's a hell of a twist.
Yeah, it made me for the first time like think, wait a minute. How many times has that happened? Like, how many people are dead because somebody couldn't actually go through with their own suicide? And so they wanted to be put in that situation.
Suicide by cop.
Yeah, but you put other people in that situation. But then I think to myself, so of course when you ask that question, the answer is, okay, so then should we do, what is that? Were they assisted suicide? Were they,
Yeah.
But when you ask that question, then you think of all the people, I mean, we've talked to so many people in so many different brackets of life and areas, and everybody goes through bad times. Like, it's inevitable. Like, if you get through your entire life and everything was hunky-dory, I don't know, you might have been imagining the entire thing as you went, because life has pain in it, and there are sorrows, and there are seasons that you go through that feel like this is never going to end. I'm going to be like this forever. And I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying, when I grew up, for you, life switched all over the place. I mean, you didn't know if tomorrow you weren't going to be plopped in the car and brought to the 7-8 states over,
Yeah.
For me, it was the same house, same, everything was consistent. My father is an extremely consistent man. Like, there are no deviations. He gets up at the same time. He has his cup of coffee. He spends his time reading his Bible. He prays. He makes his lunch. Everything that he does is systematic, and that's how he has orchestrated his life. And so we lived in that world. I honestly, for me, I like a little bit of chaos. Maybe that's why I've enjoyed these last few years with you. There's a lot of different stuff changes, whatever. And so I enjoy that. As a matter of fact, this is really terrible, but I used to hope that something bad would happen. I remember hoping my parents would go through a divorce so I could get some more siblings. I mean, that's pretty crazy. But anyway, so when you're talking to people, I said, I couldn't imagine when I went through my first, I was finding all kinds of lies that my ex was saying to me, and all these situations that were coming up. And then it was making me realize other situations that had been going on that I had been ignoring. And so all this stuff kind of compiled into one section of my life, and it felt so horrible. And on top of that, he was the breadwinner, so I had no income. I was stay-at-home mom, homeschooling, blah blah blah. And so now he held all the money back, so I had no money, I had no way to pay bills, and he was trying to make it so I'd have to kind of grovel back. But that was when Vinny and I I actually wasn't helping you nanny at first. You just were helping me with all my bills, and I was like, what the fuck, I want to help do something. But when I was in that phase of my life,
all your bills.
No, but you were helping with a lot of them, and that's what kept me from having to be like, please. You know what I mean? So anyway.
Yeah.
But the point is, when I was going through that phase of my life, it was extremely difficult and it was really painful. There wasn't the support that I really, really needed. You were extremely supportive. But I think that a lot of times people are in need of a network of support, not just one person. And so there was a lot that was being placed on you, and the network of people that should have been there, weren't for whatever reasons. But I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, like this was overwhelming. And there were times where I felt like it was not going to change and things were going to get worse. And I was having the craziest thoughts at that point. But now, obviously, life goes on. And if you make the choice, the painful decision to get out of a bad situation, the transition is extremely difficult. But when you get out on the other side of that, you're glad that you did it. And you feel empowered that you were able to make that sort of change through that pain and survive and come to the other side of it. And so now, obviously, I have a life with Vinny where, we do all kinds of stuff. We have a great life together. We've got bunches of kids and life is good, But at that time, I couldn't see that future. So I think that sometimes when you can't see a future, which happens when you're very depressed, you could make a decision like going to end your own life. You walk into a clinic, they end your life for you, but you didn't realize, what was in your future that, maybe I'm just talking too much, but remember in Lord of the Rings, there was one part in there where there was that one girl she was gonna give up, Liv Tyler or something. Yeah. She was gonna give up her
elfdom or
to be with him, but he was not gonna last forever, and so I think it was her father. Somebody was trying to paint this really dismal and dark picture for her that she was going to spend eternity after eternity after eternity just living in suffering and being alone. And then she ends up having a vision of this, emotional because of babies, kids, this blue-eyed boy that looks like him, and she realizes, no, the end of his existence is not the end of all things. There are more things beyond them, and the more life will come, and there's more stuff. So she was never going to be alone. She was going to see a lot of generations. So I think that sometimes if some of us could just see into our future and see, maybe it's not like a blue-eyed little boy, or maybe it's something else, something else that would kind of bring you joy and hope is in the future, but you're not there yet. And you feel so depressed about the present that you think, there's going to be no change. Everything's going to stay the same. And because you're in that depressed state, are you really capable or qualified to make that decision of whether or not you should end your life? So I think if you open it up to that, so many people would end up dying that needlessly, that their life was going to turn and things were going to change and there was hope in the future. And of course, seeing the fallout of one person's decision to choose to end their own life and how that affects all the people within their circle, it's just impractical. But then you think to yourself, well, that's crazy. If that person would have just been able to simply end their own life, they wouldn't have killed all those other people in a mass shooting. But then you can't, I don't know, again, that's one of those decisions. Then we're making a decision based off fear. But then if it was my family that was going to die because somebody couldn't go through with their own and then they went about it that way so that way they could end up in the electric chair, I'd say, well, no, you should make this available to that man. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to see my family die because of that.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated thing, But then but obviously we want the most human life saved possible.
Well, I don't think that's particularly obvious to everybody. In Switzerland, there's a clinic, according to Stephen, where you can have assisted death. The problem is that people with trivial problems have gone there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but obviously not trivial to them.
Right.
And that's what happens.
The thing.
You open that door.
Yeah.
Then those types of things happen. Yes, Kev, I am aware of it. I'm working on it. Thanks for the heads up. But yeah, it definitely opened. It was definitely a twist. I thought the twist was going to be, and 7 o'clock hit, my alarm went off, and it was time for me to go to school. I didn't think it was going to be, so I massacred all these people.
I didn't expect that either.
Holy shit. I was like, what year was that?
I actually thought that they were going to change the law or something, and the person was going to not go to death row. It was very difficult for me not to read ahead. I literally had to scroll the screen down so I couldn't see the words. Yeah. Because I wanted to know. But,
I thought it was a great song. Very, very thought-provoking. That solo at the end, man. Holy smoke.
Yeah, he's very good.
there was a lot. Go listen to that solo and then listen to Kirk Hammett's solo on Fade to Black, particularly the second half of that solo, because it seemed very inspired by Brother Hammett. Let's just say it that way.
I will say I'm very
brilliant
glad that he did a side project. And
yes,
because like sometimes people do side projects and I'm like, I don't know if I feel like it was just your name that got that project out there. It wasn't that you had a really great product.
Right.
But this to me is legitimately, it's really good. And I think that it feels like it has so much pent up in it that it was necessary that it was made public. So,
yeah.
This, do you have more to say?
No.
I think I'm going higher with this one. I'm going to go with a 9.5 for this one.
Would you say 9.5?
Yeah. Wait, pause. This line, I highlighted it, but you didn't seem to see what I was pointing at here.
What's on the mind
when the convict fries? First of all, the way that they worded it, I find that to be repulsive. Like, frying and calling him the convict instead of, because it's not they're not, like, it's dehumanized a little bit. But then also, like, the question of what is on their mind. That was just crazy. Like, I really, wow. Like, what is on people's minds when they're in that situation? I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to have that job.
Yeah, I don't understand how you could have that job.
No way.
I do not understand how anybody could have that job. Your job is just to oversee the and the warden does other stuff, but that's part of the job. It's not like it's the only thing he does.
Yeah.
But that's one of his major responsibilities.
Yeah.
It's like, literally,
it's like the guy with the hood that would do I was always like, wow, can you imagine being that person?
Yeah, well, you'd want to wear a hood too.
Oh, I would, yeah. I wouldn't want to do it.
You'd want to wear a hood too. You'd want to let everybody know.
I feel like
that's
that
the guy that killed your uncle.
Yeah, I feel like there's enough people though that they're crazy enough where they'd like to do a job like that. That there's probably enough spots for.
Pretty terrible job.
I don't want that for me.
Pretty terrible.
Or anyone I.
But look what Anwar said, because it's so fascinating. He says, "Listen, type 2 diabetes is trivial though. So many actors I work with and manage it. But a person went to Switzerland to basically kill themselves because they had diabetes.
Diabetes?
Type 2 diabetes. So they went to Switzerland and offed themselves. But then Zombie Holic responds by saying, yeah, but diabetes is expensive. Like, we're in such a crazy world.
I'm so fucking pissed that all this money is getting sent for war, billions of dollars, and it's seemingly come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we've been crybabying about we can't do who's going to afford Medicare for all? Who's going to pay for that? The money was there. The money was there because when we wanted to involve ourselves in something that's really none of our fucking business, money's been coming out from everywhere. And every time I go to the store, I get progressively more and more angry because all the stuff on the shelves is so much more expensive. I barely walk out of the store with anything and it's hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, if I knew that this money was going toward Medicare for all, then I would gladly pay $5 more for my eggs than I was paying before. Yeah. But now when I'm like, this is going for what? For war? No. Oh my word. I'm so, wow. Anyway.
Unbelievable. Hell yeah! 9.5 for me.
That's what I gave it, a 9.5.
There you are, dear listener. We're coming right back at you with more metal goodness from Mojo. Say that 10 times fast. More metal goodness from Mojo.
More metal goodness from Mojo.
Actually, no.
Sorry,
more metal mayhem from Mojo.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back, dear listener. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good play of words. Are you impressed?
Oh, very.
I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to review, so we can't guarantee,
Can't
a
guarantee
positive
you
review.
A positive review.
Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
Yes, to buy our merch, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 6 Degrees of Separation classic metal live stream, hosted by the big homie Mojo. Next up on our list is a song. Whoa. Okay. The second singer tonight is Ian Gillen. Wait. Did I have my songs out of order?
Butcher of the Chair,
Okay.
Black Sabbath, Stonehenge.
You may recognize his name as you reacted to 3. I might have put this out of order. Song 3. Well, no. Okay, let me just read it and we'll see what happens. You may recognize his name as you have reacted to 3 Deep Purple songs from the era when Ian was fronting that band. We won't be listening to Deep Purple tonight.
Oh, no.
I hate that thing. Instead, we will listen to 2 tracks from the single album he recorded with Black Sabbath in the early 80s, Born Again. This is not a very highly regarded record amongst Sabbath fans, but it is one of my favorites. Born Again was released in 1983. Ian only recorded this one record with the band. Musically, Ian's voice is perfect for Black Sabbath, but stylistically and image-wise, it was not a good fit. Ian was and is a hippie. Not that there's anything wrong with that. During recording, the band rented an estate and set up a studio in the main house, while the rest of the band was living in the huge mansion. Ian was living in a teepee on the estate grounds, communing with nature when not recording. And on the stage, he was more comfortable performing barefoot than putting on leathers and chains. They parted ways after the Born Again album tour cycle, but it was an amicable split. Ian and Tony Iommi. Oh.
Go ahead.
Iommi are good friends to this day and have collaborated on other projects together over the years. Next up is Stonehenge, Disturbing the Priest.
Okay, here we go. Stonehenge, Disturbing the Priest.
So, wait. The first time I heard this, the 16-year-old me thought it was one of the most evil, creepy, and cool things I'd ever heard. I can't imagine any other singer on the planet being able to do what Ian did in this song. Okay.
Okay, this should be interesting. All right, here we go. Black Sabbath, Stonehenge, and or
Disturbing the Priest.
Disturbing the Priest. Let's check it out. Spooky. Atmospheric, to say the least.
Wow.
Force of the devil is the darkness that moves past the face. Force of the night will destroy him, but will not disgrace. To get into his mind and to his soul, you gotta set it right. Flames of doubt so deep inside. The devil and the priest can't exist if one goes away. It's just like the battle of the sun and the moon in night and day. Force of the devil, let's move the road to the field. Watch out for religion when he gets too near, too near. When disturbing the breeze, won't you please come to our knees? Do we mind disturbing the breeze? No, not in these. Can't like this contradiction because of crucifixion. I'll take your soul and plant my seed. Let's try to get to the sky. Hang on, you're gonna die. So, like the turn swinging, slaying its knees. Sweet child with an innocent smile, watches closely all the while. And when he cries, keep looking in the eye.
So
You didn't,
Lay's,
you didn't like this joint?
Lay's potato chips one time, I'm not sure if this is still a thing. You put up that picture. They came out with a fry, not a fry. They were some chips and they were chicken and waffle flavor. Okay, I like chicken.
Literally?
Yeah, and I like waffles. But do I want to put them both together in a chip? No, I don't. I have no interest in even trying those. If somebody opened a bag in front of me and said, hey, you want to give these a try? Yeah, I would, but I'm not spending money on that. No.
I'm
This
waiting-
song to
I'm
me
waiting
was
to
like
see.
that. There was something.
Oh no!
There was something not right about the chicken waffle mix that I didn't like.
Really?
Now, I don't know if it's because, Mojo, you led the witness by saying, I picture him with the bare feet. I'm vibing with him out in his teepee. I really, really like that. It doesn't mix with the chains and the leather. I see that. And so maybe mentally I was already like, but when the song was playing, I kept feeling like something wasn't waffle and chicken. They weren't going together for me on a chip.
Well, it was definitely like
Shout out to Colin.
An avant-garde. It was definitely like an avant-garde type of set. The timing was off. It was like start stop. It was the stuff that Korn did on the first couple records when they.
Yeah, but it belongs there. You felt weird about them, and you felt the vibe. Something to me was not like something wasn't right about this.
It was not immediately.
But I didn't feel like that immediately. It came in as it progressed. That's where I was like,
Yeah, like I mean, I agree with you. I mean, once the music, aside from the instrumental, once the music hit,
the instrumental was beautiful at the beginning.
right? Once the music hit, though, you could tell that Iommi was like, I'm going to experiment and play around with this kind of style. And they did something like, again, like, this guy, Tony Iommi, like, I agree, there's a mini debate happening, like, you know, who makes this band? And Perk was saying, Black Sabbath equals Tony Iommi. The band had always done just fine with or without Ozzy, who was always carried by talented guitarists, be it Tony Iommi or Randy Rhoads. Like, it's not a diss to Ozzy, but this Iommi, I mean, unless you've played an instrument, and on top of unless you've played an instrument, unless you have tried to create music yourself,
Okay.
you know how difficult it is to make a good song, and then after you've made a good song, to make another good song that isn't a complete copy of the first good song.
Okay.
It is so difficult to do. It is so difficult to do. And to think that this dude came up with this song, this style, what year was this?
Let's see.
This is almost 1983. This really could have been like a new metal song, like a Static X type new metal song, like the weird breaks, the weird timing signatures, the weird drum patterns. Like, you could say, oh, that's progressive, but this could have been a new metal song, like if you stripped it down, especially the interplay with the rhythm section and the lead guitar. Like, for this dude to do something like that in 1983.
Yeah.
We weren't even alive. Like, for him to be able to do that, and create basically another genre of music is insane to me. Like, nobody understand. I get frustrated when I talk about Iommi because you're my partner. Like, no disrespect, but like, you don't understand how great this man is because you know what I'm saying. Like it's so frustrating when I think about how good this guy is, and because I know that, like, I won't even be able to articulate how good this guy is. This guy is responsible for so many different genres in metal. It's mind-boggling to me. It's absolutely crazy to me how talented this guy is as a song maker. Mm-hmm. I will say this. Head is my favorite guitarist of all time. He always will be. You know I love you. But this guy is the best songwriter of all time in metal. Period. It's not even close.
BC. After you said all that amazing, yep.
Oh no,
sucks.
he's
talking about something else.
He's talking about Roe v. Wade supposedly being decision.
Okay, all right. That's what I get for just jumping in.
Roe v. Wade is not being decision right now in the Supreme Court. There's no way. Like, I would be shooting a Middle America live stream right now if that was what was happening. That's not what's happening. Okay, so
okay,
just relax, BC. But anyway, Tony Iommi, the guy is unbelievable. It's just absolutely unbelievable. What did you think he was talking about? That's another question.
Yeah, that is another question. I really don't know.
I think he's trying to deal with, like, the pull between religion and, you know, your good life is a contradiction because of the crucifixion. If you're ready and have the need, I will take your soul and plant my seed. So it looks like he's trying to seduce somebody and basically saying, with the inception of Christianity, you can no longer live a pleasurable life, basically. So, see, it says, sweet child with an innocent smile, watch closely all the while. Don't be fooled when he cries. Keep looking at the eyes. And it starts out, let's try getting to the sky. Hang on, or you're going to die. Mm-hmm. Sour life can turn sweet. It's laying at your feet. So that's drugs, right? Like, let's touch the sky, whatever. Like, we're trying to get high. And then the good life's a contradiction because of the crucifixion. So I think what they're saying is, we're going to try to get high, escape the world, yada, yada, yada. We know that Christianity's come to take away pleasure and happiness. So the good life is a contradiction because of the crucifixion. But if you're ready and you have the need, take your soul and I'll plant my seed. So I think it's a girl. See what I'm saying?
Oh.
So it looks to me like it's a groupie. She's in the back of the tour bus. He's got the drugs on the table.
Oh my God.
He's like, don't let your religion like hold you back. Yada, yada, yada. Like,
What?
that's what I think is happening.
Babe, you know what? There's some of these reviews that I'm like, Maybe. Perhaps you're right. And then I look in the comment section and people are like, you nailed it! Blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, you're probably right. I would never have gotten that. Literally, in this song...
How would you have taken Let's Try Getting to the Sky? You didn't think Let's Get High?
Hang on, you're going to die.
Sour life can turn sweet. It's laying at your feet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah. For me, the line that kept popping up was, we're disturbing the priest, and then it kept making me think of the other song that we listened to about the pedophile priests. And so I was like, I just kept thinking about throughout my life, the different times that I could see that people were on purpose trying to piss off Christian people.
Yeah.
And I was like, people have every right to do that. Like, sometimes, like...
Why?
God forgive our people, but you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they're so detached from, like, reality and what's actually happening. It's like, bad feelings and horrible events, they don't just float themselves away because you said some cliche statement that was supposed to make somebody feel good because you didn't actually know how to deal with the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's just, like, I just remember seeing, because, so I spent my life on the other side, like... this seemingly perfect Christian, you know what I mean? And then seeing people trying to get, under the skin of Christians, and I was like, why are people doing this? So weird, But now, like, being on the other side of it, I'm like, no, that makes sense. I understand why they were doing that. So every time they said, we're disturbing the priest, won't you please come to our feast? All I kept thinking of was, it was like almost like throwing a party, doing something... and on purpose trying to trigger the religious people. That's all I got from it. I didn't get this.
The song is based
groupie.
The song is based on a priest coming to the studio because they were playing loud and he was having a choir practice at the time. Gillen doesn't write deep lyrics, he just likes to rhyme.
Babe.
You're
still sticking with your story.
Yeah, I'm still sticking to my story.
Yeah.
Although it is kind of like it could have been the priest that like triggered that, but I'm like, let's try getting to the sky. Hang on, you're gonna die. Yeah, I just think the priest probably triggered the whole corruption of innocence with religion angle. Because you see what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta listen to the night at the ending of the day. You gotta listen to the night as the safety slips away. Moving out of sight are the things you need to see to feel, and as they slip away, becoming so unreal. Mm-hmm. So he's basically, to me, it sounds like he's saying you have to basically give in to the darkness, right? Mm-hmm. You got to listen to the night as the ending of the day. Listen to the night as safety slips away. So it's like, go do something dangerous. You're stuck behind this religious whatever. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to listen to the night and don't forget to say your prayers. And as you lose control in the eyes... in dark in the skies, the icy fingers of fan electric lies. I don't know. I think this guy's a pretty deep lyricist, actually. Go ahead.
Well, two things. One is, I've written things before, and Vin was like, yo, that's mad deep. And he, like, pulled something out of it that I didn't fucking put in there. But I was like, yeah, that fits. That was back when we were friends.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
Subliminally.
Yeah. Subliminally, I'm a lot more smart than I am. I'm a lot smarter than I am in regular life. Anyways, the second thing is, when I don't have a fucking clue what a song is about, then just like one line or two lines will stick out to me, and then I just make the whole thing about that. So it was the Christian angle that I just already talked about. And then also when he said, sweet child with an innocent smile, watches closely all the while. Don't be fooled when he cries, keep looking at the eyes. It reminded me, I don't know why, but there was, again, we're going back to the Catholic thing. There was this whole thing, God love my grandfather. He would tell us these stories because he thought these stories were going to get us to like be like, whoa, the Catholic Church is amazing and we need to switch religions like right now. But honest to goodness, I was terrified whenever he told me these stories. And I didn't even understand like why he thought that these were a positive thing. And so there was like stories of like statues crying blood. Like literally like blood was coming from their eyes. And I was like, this is a positive thing? And then like as a kid, but he was like really like, I didn't laugh about it because I didn't really think it was funny. I thought the whole thing was weird and just like the concept of just like blood just like streaming from eyes. Then there was like another one where it was water that was streaming from the eyes, but it was like holy water. And like they took apart this statue because they thought like people thought that like maybe somebody had like piped something into it to make it, like, obviously the liquid come out of it, but apparently there was nothing. But just like all those bizarre stories. So that was that was what I thought of when I saw with Don't Be Fooled When He Cries, Keep Looking at the Eyes. Because whenever I saw those events, because my grandfather would play this Catholic channel all the time, like when we were there. I think it was his way of trying to convert us, maybe, or maybe it was something he did all the time. I don't know. But like all these like weird stories would come up and they'd like zoom in on the statues and like all that. And I remember like trying to like look and see like, is there a hole? So that's what's coming out of it. Or of course they were selling the liquid that was coming out. So I was like, oh, it's a scandal. But anyway, so it became about that. And picking on, you know...
where did you get the song?
Trolling Christians. But, you know, you think it's about sex with a groupie. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm right. Or maybe it's about a priest that had to listen to their stuff. I'm going to give this one a 6. I was not a fan.
You're horrible. 9.1 for the great Tony. For the great Tony Iommi.
You know nothing,
We're
babe.
out of this review. Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Gone.
I feel like you just did that because... It's Iommi, not because you actually think it's a 9.1.
You're such a plebe. You're such a plebe.
Just a regular.
I'm so angry at you. I'm not even going to shoot the commercial. We're going to go right to the next song. All right, dear listener, here we go. Balance.
No, wait, you're not putting this. It makes it difficult to break it up if you don't do the commercial. But go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
120 in 10 seconds, okay? 120 in 10 seconds. That's all you need to figure out. I've had enough of your lies for today. How dare
What
you
is
do
wrong
that
with you?
with Tony Iommi?
Listen, I'm not going to lie just because you want some sort of, you know.
Okay, so this is Black Sabbath.
You want to feel good.
Black Sabbath-Born Again.
Yeah, Born Again.
I'm going to go and assume that you don't even have that downloaded.
There was one song I told you that I couldn't get to download. I was having trouble. You know,
Was
Born
it the
Again.
Black Sabbath song?
I'm going to read his intro here.
Okay.
Okay. Wait, that's song 5, Devil's Stomp. Okay. Born Again. He has a lot to say about this one, so. I don't have much to say about this song other than it's one of my favorite Sabbath songs. Definitely in my top 5. So, Born Again is a topic that Christians use a lot. And it's basically about, well, our version of Christianity. And I remember when people would be like, what does that mean, born again? Like, and they would look at me like, gross. And then we would just explain to them it was, well, you have your natural birth when you're born from your mother's womb. And then you'll have a spiritual birth when you're like, you know what? This Jesus guy, I mean, he's got it. I think he's got it right here. And I would like to be part of the movement he's got going on. And so you basically are saying, yeah, you know what? I understand that what you said is true, that I have done a lot of nasty things, and basically I almost couldn't help it because I was basically born this way. That's how I feel. And so will you help me? Forgive me for all those things that I did and help me going forward to be able to live as part of like your revolution, basically. And what? You all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So anyway, people were pretty much okay with it after you gave like that sort of explanation. But prior to that, I just remember my friends being like, born again? Born Again and the word altar, and there was one other one that was like, you always got like a weird, speaking in tongues, obviously. But the speaking in tongues one, people were always like, tell me more.
Wait,
that in Revelation.
Are you reading?
No, I'm talking.
Did you finish the reading?
Yeah, it was literally that he doesn't have much to say other than it's his favorite song.
Oh!
The rest of it was my explanation.
The rest of it was your...
You're like, wait, that sounds way too much like Sori. Did this guy have the same upbringing?
Your bloviations?
Yeah, did you get it downloaded? I'm keeping stuff busy and interesting while you download.
Here we go. Black Sabbath, Born Again. We lost a viewer while you were going off with that nonsense.
Here we go.
Praise God that I interrupted your ass. All right, here we go. Born Again, Black Sabbath. Let's go. Feeling this. Okay, what'd you think about that one?
Ooh, I really vibe that song. I really, really, really vibe that song.
You know, I love licks like that.
Yeah, oh, me too.
I love guitar licks like that.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah, and the sound of his voice was perfect in this.
Yeah.
That kind of brings me back to our like childhood years. I feel like that's the stuff our mothers used to play.
Yeah, like that early
that sort of
90s
kind of
shit.
raspy-ish sort of voice that kind of
Yeah.
it was kind of
played in the
high.
little club, little cigarette smoke. Yeah.
But mine was always like Christian versions of that type of music. You know what I mean? Because my mom would practice it to sing for church. So there was that sound. That was like really the only sound, the only music we had in the house was my mom practicing music for church.
The guitar lick in this song is my favorite of the night.
Oh, this
it just
was
stays with it.
This
it's
was
very reserved,
beautiful,
and it's the perfect like escape for thinking and
Jesse.
and all that.
Well, Sori got contact high again on this song. I did. It was a very nice one. I very much enjoyed it. It's gonna help me get through the pregnancy. Wow.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that
I'm still sick, coughing into the mic, guys. That's what you call. That's what you call dedication.
Yeah, at least he's not coughing in your face.
Yeah. Dedication, dear listener.
Yeah.
That's what we have.
But you know, I don't actually know what the song is about. I know like it's weird because like it started out kind of sounding like forgotten sexual not forgotten, but like memories of the past.
What does sexual have to do with it?
Well, because he
it's
says,
sorry, so we gotta
no, come on.
Find some way.
The icy fingers of forgotten passions softly brushing my lips. That doesn't sound sexual to you?
I thought it was him putting down his guitar or his
What? That's so funny.
That's what I envisioned.
That's so funny. But,
What?
You know, okay, so when it said, as you look through my window deep into my room, all the tapestries all faded, their vague and distant glories concealed in the gloom. For some
icy
reason,
fingers of forgotten passion softly brushing my lips at the tips of my primitive soul.
yeah, no, to me it was like the past relationship, whatever that, and it reminded me too when it talked about the tapestry and the
fingers, yeah,
babe.
brushing his lips.
Fingers touch each other when stuff is going on.
Lips? You touch people's lips?
I never touched your lips.
No, you don't do that.
You're such a fucking liar. I do it all the time.
When shit's about to get live, you don't do that. You don't touch my lips.
What are you talking about?
You don't do that when shit's about to get real.
Oh, I touch your lips a lot. You probably don't even realize, but I really like them.
No, not when shit's about to get real, though. You don't do that.
What does that matter? Like, it's about that experience, and I do that in the experience. What are you talking about? That's so weird.
What do you mean?
Who have you been with the last... whatever.
I don't
you don't even
recall,
remember me touching your lips?
I don't recall. I recall you doing it once or twice, but I don't remember. I don't recall it being some continuous.
Oh,
thing.
no, I mean, not every single time, but it is something I've done. And honey, what are you talking about?
I've jumped out of an airplane before.
Stop.
I guess I just do that. No,
Stop.
I just do that every day.
Listen.
Hop
This is
out
getting
of an airplane.
ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. They do it all the time in romantic scenes, but usually it's the guy touching the girl's lips. Because, usually they have nicer lips than mine. Mine are like little skinny white girl lips.
Mojo says, I think Ian may have written this about the end of his relationship with Richie Blackmore.
Who's Richie Blackmore?
I don't know who Richie Blackmore is.
Is Richie a guy? Or is Richie his guitar? As Vin
Or
says.
it could be a girl. You don't know.
I mean a girl. Yeah, I meant a girl.
All right, Richie Blackmore is a guitarist in Deep Purple. So it was one of his bandmates, which would be closer to my interpretation than yours. Because he's giving up the mic.
Since when? Who told you that? Oh, Mojo did. Dang.
Yeah, the guy who recommended the song.
What am I supposed to do here?
Deep into my room, can you feel the mighty wall of power? It's wailing in the gloom, the distant shadows.
Mine says waiting in the gloom.
Listen,
that's weird. I have to say that's weird that he's using this type of language to talk about his bandmate. Okay?
No, because it's talking about music. Ultimately, music is the passion that
he's telling
in love with.
Who's he telling to look through into his window, deep into his room?
I think he's telling all of us to. He's saying, look at me. This is where I'm at right now. Because I don't have... This is where I'm at. I don't have any... I don't have...
So what made him lose his music, his passion?
Well, the band obviously broke up or something because he's in Black Sabbath right now.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're getting aggressive.
He was originally...
Yo,
He was originally in Deep Purple,
Yeah.
and now he's in Black Sabbath.
This is
So-
Black Sabbath, though. So he's singing about Deep Purple, and that's who the Richie guy was part of Deep Purple?
Yeah.
Babe, why are you looking at me like I know all this stuff? Like,
Because I literally 2 seconds ago just said it to you.
well, you said the
I
guy's
said he
name.
was in Deep Purple, and now he's in
Yeah,
Black
I didn't
Sabbath.
hear all that because I was trying to
And then,
understand
literally,
why he would
as
say
I was
that.
talking, you
Well-
were circling Black Sabbath. I was like, oh my God, I know where this question's going.
Listen.
Show me that you're not listening to me without telling me you're not listening to me.
No, it's just that you were saying things while I was processing my own thoughts. What do you want me to be like? Hey, sorry, let me put you to the side so I can listen to somebody else. You can have everybody else's thoughts going on in your
As
head.
you look
No.
through my door deep into my room, can you feel the mighty wall of power? It's wailing in the gloom. The distant shadows of forgotten champions. You see that? The icy,
Yeah,
if
I
you
can see
go
that.
up, the icy fingers of forgotten passions versus the
Forgotten
distant
champions.
shadows
Yeah.
of forgotten champions.
Look,
So-
I'm with it. I'm with you now.
So that's
I'm
when,
with you now. It's not
that's
about
when-
sex.
That's when they were in Deep Purple, right? And they were champions. They were at the top of the world.
Look.
And then their band broke up, and he wasn't getting that type of attention anymore.
Okay.
But he feels that in order for him to get back to that place, he has to conform to somebody. Because it says, if you want to be king for a day, just do what I say.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
I
saying?
see. Oh yeah, I saw that. That
Born
was like
again,
the
you'll be
last
born-
line.
Yeah, so it looks like the gray and plastic retards all floating in circles. That's interesting. The gray and
What?
plastic retards. Do you have retards in there too? Yeah.
Where?
The gray and plastic retards all floating in circles right there.
Babe, just point to it.
The gray and... There it is right there.
Plastic. What?
As you look through my window deep into my room at the
What
future,
is that?
At your future and freedom, the gray and plastic retards all floating in circles as you taste the fruits of new sensations softly brushing your lips as we rise when we challenge and kill. So it looks like what it's talking about is that he's in a predatory industry. They basically broke up as a band because he didn't want to conform, and I think he's wrestling with, okay, well, if I go back and conform, I can get everything back. I can be the king. I can whatever. I could basically be reborn and restart my career, but I have to do it the way that they, whoever the they is,
Yeah.
want me to do it.
Well, I
is
mean,
what it
I think
looks
we
like.
can probably guess who the they is. The record label, right?
Well, it could be the record label, or it could be his own band. It could be Richie or whatever his name is, and they were just like parting ways. Or hell, it could be about Sabbath, because
I mean,
he didn't fit into Black Sabbath. He was a hippie. They were more metal. So it could have been any one of those, right? It could have been that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And you know, sometimes I say, oh well, it's so much better for musicians now because you can put your stuff out on, you know, all these different forums, YouTube, blah blah blah, whatever, and you can get your music listened to on those different forums, and then you don't have to go through a record label. But at the same time, people are extremely opinionated, and your audience can still dictate to you what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So, I
that's
mean,
true.
I remember when we first started YouTube, we had mad people. They don't really tell us anymore. Like, I think that people are like, I give up. But before, like, people were like, stop talking about your religion. Stop talking about politics. Stop talking about... If you don't do shorter reviews, I'm never going to subscribe.
Yeah.
People had so many
They had
opinions
so
when we
many
first started.
opinions and threats
And
and
it's
whatever.
it's not for the faint of heart, because there were some people that were like, this is amazing, blah blah blah, like, I'm so glad I got on at the beginning of this, but there was a lot of people that were extremely negative. It's not for the faint of heart, and if you're not accustomed to that, or you don't realize it, then people will really drag you down. So yeah, I guess it could be anybody really, but I think that's difficult. But at the same time, like, if you can maneuver through those things, maybe you can get better. I mean, like, sometimes I see people's art and I'm like, that's objectively trash. Like, that's really, and I feel like I have a very abstract appreciation for art. So when I think something's trash, I feel like, no, that's really just trash. But, you know, I'm sure that there's a small group of people that appreciate that type of music. But
Right.
I mean, that type of thing. But I don't know. I think that, do you think it's more important for people to maintain their self-identity and their expression of art, music, paint, whatever? Or do you think it's better for them to conform to make it work better for them? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
Do you think it just depends on where
what
you're at
your goal
financially?
is. If
Yeah.
your goal is, I'm going to put food on the table, then
Yeah.
just do 4-4 and whatever.
Yeah.
But if your goal is, well, I've got like multiple different answers. Like, if your goal is expression, then I would say it should be a mixture of the two, right? Like, you do something mainstream to get the attention of the normies, and then the rest of your album can be all the avant-garde, weird, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So you'd have to do a little bit of both, which is where a lot of, like, if you get a rap record, like, for example, Biggie, he's got 2 songs that are like pop songs, whatever, that sound like pop songs, and then a whole bunch of other gutter-level street shit you'd never hear on the radio. So most artists, I think, are in that range. I think Slipknot is the same thing. If you're trying to do something like completely earth-shattering and game-changing, then you're going to go completely outside the box and stay that way. And that's a risk that Korn took, I think. Korn did that. The shit that Korn was doing was just, nobody was doing it. Not that way, and not with that level of commitment. I mean, even to the production had so many errors. Like, you can hear when people are taking off on palm mutes and all the stuff that gets edited out so that it could be a pristine recording. Like, Ross left all that stuff in there so that and he did that on purpose. Same thing with the daddy thing where Jonathan's crying at the end and he just let the tape play, ended up on the record. Like, stuff like that just nobody was really doing at that level. So I've got like 3 answers to that. Yeah. But I really like this song. Love the guitar. Love the guitar riff. What'd you give it?
Go first. Go first.
Okay.
I'm toggling between 2 scores.
Lisa says a man who gives into conformity ceases being a man. So,
well, you're very manly.
Listen, if you're interested in Sister Lisa, you better come correct. Can't be no weak sauce guy.
Yep, don't come slacking.
She ain't gonna have no parts of you, son. All right. I love this song. It was my favorite lick of the night. It's
for sure.
9.9.
Okay.
9.9. I give it.
Okay, I was going between 9.8 and 9.9. But I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon with you. 9.9 it is.
Yeah, this is a
really good one. I really enjoyed it.
This is a playlist song for me.
Absolutely.
This was a really,
this is
really
one
good
that
song.
if you play in the car, I'm gonna be like, yes, together. We both enjoy this one. Yeah.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right, we have got another song for you, dear listener. Don't leave. It's false advertising. It's fake news. This is by the band Badlands, and this band actually does have a very long introduction.
Gillen?
So read his intro.
Yeah, Ray Gillen, Devil's Stomp.
Devil's Stomp.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Ray Gillen. Ray is probably the most notable as the singer for the Badlands, which was the band Jake E. Lee formed after leaving Ozzy's band, and is Badlands that we will be listening to tonight. I really like the way you write, Mojo. But Ray.
Badlands? It's Badlands.
Okay, Badlands. I'm sorry.
Baby.
But Ray also did a short stint in the mid-'80s with Black Sabbath. All 3 of the singers featured tonight have a connection with Black Sabbath. John Olivia's connection to Sabbath is that in the mid-'80s, there was a period where Savatage was close to breaking up. At this time, John was all set up to go to Europe to become Black Sabbath's next singer, and his brother Chris, R.I.P., was about to leave for California to join Megadeth. Whoa.
Wow.
Long story short, the band didn't break up and John backed out of the Sabbath gig at the last minute. Sometime after John backed out, Sabbath recruited Ray Gillen for the job. It's uncertain if Ray got the job because John backed out. The singer slot in Sabbath was a virtual revolving door during this time. In addition to
Sabbath's point.
In addition to Sabbath's connection with these three singers, in addition to the Sabbath connection these 3 singers share, John and Ray were friends and on Savatage's Hall of the Mountain King record in 1987. Ray sang backup vocals on the classic track Strange Wings. There's actually video on the YouTube of Ray performing the song live as a duet and John and the band with John and the band. Perhaps a reaction for another day. Sadly, Ray passed away in the early 90s, R.I.P. This last song is a banger from the Badlands' first record released in 1989. This is a fan-created video syncing up live footage with the studio recording. Enjoy. Oh.
Wow.
Nice. All right. Badlands, Devil's Stomp, y'all, for the 6 Degrees of Separation Classic Metal live stream. Hosted by the big homie Mojo.
Why did he call it 6 Degrees of Separation?
I don't know. I thought that we were...
I think
Well-
it's guys that have been in other bands.
Yeah, probably. But
The
I
guy
didn't.
was in Sabotage.
Yeah.
And then he was in Deep Purple. Then he went to Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's that they people that went into different bands. I think is the theme.
Yeah, but what is the phrase? 6 degrees.
6
of
degrees of
separation.
separation is that basically
You're-
you can get to
Oh,
anybody
yes!
in the world.
That's right,
which is
yeah.
probably 4 degrees of separation
Yeah.
now with the internet. All right, here we go. You can, hey, if you know me, I'm a pretty connected individual. If you want to know musicians, certain folks in the military, certain folks in the government.
If you want to get to know Vin, join me on
Football-
Patreon. I
football
forward
players.
messages to him all the time.
It's true. There's a video I'm actually supposed to watch later on, which we will. Okay, here we go. Black Sabbath. No, not Badlands-Devil Stomp. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
I needed time to think things over, to heal my soul and ease the pain. And through a glass of revelation, I could swear I heard the darkness call my name. Imagination's running far too long. The mind we're lost can read the senses wrong.
Perfect. Perfect.
Need a shot of realization. I can't believe the things I've seen. 'Cause down the bar sat the devil man. As he turned around and smiled, he said to me, he said, "Hey boy, I know what you're looking for. It feels so good to be so bad. Just take a chance, step through my open door." Lord! Now, boy, I know you're all so young and the whole shines in front of you. But I can't give you anything you want, and I'll make it so easy for you. All I know is what my mama told me. All I know is what she said. When the elves above me sneaking up on you, best be dancing on his head, yeah. Lord, to the devil's stomp. Oh, it made it sound so good, stealing my soul every way. The devil's price hangs on my soul, a pocket full of gold his way. All I know is what my mama told me. All I know is what she said. When the elves above me sneaking up on you, best be dancing on his head, yeah. Lord, to the devil's stomp.
This is live. Look at that guy's here. Holy shit. You see that guy's here? real good metal. That is some real good metal, dear listener. My favorite thing about that was these guys were rock stars and they knew they were rock stars. They dressed the part. I cannot tell you how annoying it is to me when these people show up and act like regular people. You're a freaking rock star. Act like a freaking rock star, sir. Good God.
Wow, you feel very strongly about that.
It's Badlands. That's the name of the band.
Yeah.
I do feel strongly. I really, really do. It's supposed to be a show. Get us a show. Go ahead.
Babe, did you think they had a country sound to them added in there?
They had a kind of southern,
okay.
I kind of felt like a southern atmosphere in there.
Yeah.
I also felt like there was some of that, I don't know it's because of the look, but the Led Zeppelin guy.
Oh.
He sounded like a little bit of like that Led Zeppelin guy to me as well. Somebody help me out with the Led Zeppelin guy's name. He sounded like
why am we...
that style.
Yeah. Okay.
I love the guitar riff. I was here for the freaking guitar riff. I like those. They're kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. I call it Jeep metal.
What?
It's
Jeep?
Like, yeah, it's like the white kids down south. They'd have their Jeep. It was all muddy, and then they'd be blasting some southern rock.
Yeah.
Like that type of shit. Like like bang, you would hear that riff.
One of these guys.
Down.
Jimmy Page? I don't know what you're doing. I have Led Zeppelin rock band up in...
Just put Led Zeppelin singer, honey. Good Lord. Robert Plant. Okay, there he is. Robert Plant.
Oh, that's weird because Robert Plant right there.
Yeah, he's the number one guy. He said he plays harmonica. That's his instrument.
Okay.
Yeah, like it felt like that, like it felt like southern rock. I don't know if this is a southern rock band, but that's where I kind of was during the song.
Yeah, I can
was
throw
in
into you on that. Yeah.
Hanging out. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah. So
and the thing is named, the Stomp,
Devil
Stomp, and it kind of made you do that. It made me anyway. It made me do that.
She probably doesn't know we're live.
Yeah.
We're live. We can't answer.
We can't answer. Go ahead.
Okay.
Shout out to Becky.
So let's yes, loves and hugs.
Yeah.
Let's explain to me what the lyrics were, because I actually didn't watch the lyrics at all. I was, more interested in seeing the video.
Okay, let me put the lyrics up there for everybody.
I needed time to think things over, to heal my soul and ease the pain, and through a glass, a revelation. I could swear I heard the darkness call my name. Ooh. Imagination's running for too long. Oh yeah, the mind we lost can read the senses wrong.
I need a shot of realization. I can't believe the things I've seen, because down the bar sat the devil man as he turned around and smiled. He said to me, hey boy, I know what you're looking for. It feels so good to be so bad. Just take a chance. Step through my open door, Lord. Now, boy, I know you're oh so young, and the whole world shines in front of you, but I can give you anything you want, and I'll make it so easy for you. All I know is what my mama told me. All I know is what she said. When Beelzebub was sneaking up on you, you best be dancing on his head. Lord, do the devil stomp. Oh, he made it sound so good. Stealing my soul every way. The devil's price hangs on my soul. Throw a pocket full of gold his way. All I know is what my mama told me. All I know is what she said. When Beelzebub is sneaking up on you, you best be doing the dance. You best be dancing on the devil's head. Oh, words that'll simmer like the moonlight house. Oh, feels so good, to be so bad. Been holding back, baby, for much too long. I can feel it creeping up right in my bones, and he's about to do some shit.
Oh.
So this is him at a bar.
Well, when he says "do the devil's stomp," he means stomp on the devil's head.
Yeah, like resist the devil, the devil, and he'll flee. But I think his ability to resist has been weakened.
I believe so, by a young lady.
By a young lady and some alcohol.
Yeah,
alcohol.
When we were
his
kids,
blood system.
They taught us a song in Sunday school. You can, I could beat up the devil, black and blue, and the Holy Ghost is gonna
get you too, or something.
Get the devil out of you,
Basic
or something
shit.
like that. Yeah, and I remember like singing that so many times and like picturing like beating up the devil and I really, really, really like that because I felt like the devil was pretty bad. At the same time, I prayed that life would get better for him. So this is interesting to hear it like in a song like this.
I guess the singer in this band, very good looking guy who gave a lot of women HIV. Damn. Well, there it is. There it is. Good Lord. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like once people are in that situation, like the more I see of humanity, the more I'm like, people aren't going to tell other people if they have some problem.
Yeah.
Some, you know,
they're
not going to tell somebody else. And that's like one of the things that I tell the kids. I'm like, listen, that's one of the reasons why you should wait until you're married, because when you're going to actually commit to somebody, then you have that conversation with each other and you know what you're walking into. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah. But prior to that, like if somebody's not planning on committing their life to you, and it's just going to be one of those situations where it's like, you know, do this tonight. I remember sitting down with a girl that was horrified because she had gotten something that was never going to go away from one of her partners, and she was like, what am I going to do? Nobody's going to marry me. No, I mean, she did. She ended up getting married. She had kids and stuff like that. But
yeah,
you know, she found somebody that was willing to say, you know what, let me throw in with you on that. Or maybe he already had the same thing. Who the heck knows? But at the same time,
very likely
it's just
that he was suffering under the same ailment. Considering where he was in the circles that he frequented.
It's very possible. But you know, like I think that's really boy, that's pretty selfish.
Well, and it's crazy because if it's that guy, he's talking about the temptation to go hook up with some girl at the bar. Like, that's the irony of the song, is that he's...
Wait, why is that ironic?
Because the song is about him trying to stay away from temptation and trying to stay away from, you know, cavorting and doing all these sexual trysts. But by the end...
Whenever you say the word cavorting, it's always so funny to me. It sounds so old-fashioned.
By the end of the song,
yeah,
he's basically going to give in, which art imitates life. I mean, I don't care what... It's fascinating because what you said about you know the biblical take on sex and how to manage your sexuality. It's like, oh, here's God just like sucking
ruining your
pleasure
fun
out of everything, and then it's like, yeah, well, that girl at the other end of the bar, her life depends on whether or not she follows those prudish commands.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. There's that.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Like, people never talk about that when they talk about sexual liberation. They always want to talk about how suppressive and oppressive Christianity is, as if complete unbridled sexual mania is also not oppressive and suppressive of people.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. It's crazy to me that that a guy who knew that he was infected with the disease.
Oh my God.
Especially, when was this been around? Late 80s, early 90s? Yeah. You're still in the 80s, for God's sake. So, when it was in the 80s and early 90s, that was a death sentence. Like, it was a death sentence.
Awful.
It's not like now where people are basically living with it. I mean, we're not going to say it's cured, but it wasn't like you're going to die in 5 years' time and disintegrate in front of your family. Like, you know, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, for him to do that in the 80s is insane to me.
That's so crazy.
Because that means he knowingly was going to kill these girls, basically.
Yeah. It's crazy, too, because his first thing was, I needed time to think things over to heal my soul, ease the pain. And through a glass of revelation, I could swear I heard the darkness call my name. So it's crazy because he's like trying to take a reprieve to heal himself.
Yeah.
But then he's going to, I mean.
Look at that. Their album sales were withdrawn due to the AIDS deaths that he caused.
Holy shit.
And Steven is right. They should have just given the royalties to his family. But, I mean, how many of those people, and then how many of those people did those people sleep with?
Oh, yeah. Because there's got to be a certain period of time before you know that you're infected, that you've passed it to other people. And then there's going to be a whole bunches of people that... And you know, this is part of the problem with feeling like just because you have some inclination that you should satiate that.
Very good point. That's 100% right. Just because you feel that doesn't mean you should do it. And this is you know, and they're talking about the devil, guys. So I'm sorry, it is what it is. But
Yikes.
It's really true. Like when and this is something I tell the kids all the time. Anytime God makes a law, He does it because He wants to minimize suffering and maximize pleasure.
Yep.
In the ultimate sense, I think I can defend that pretty good with the Bible and with my own experience in life and observations of other people's experience. But how we manage our sexuality, to me, is one of the clearest indications that the sexual mores that you find in the Bible, or the society that a New Testament sexuality would create, and an Old Testament sexuality, because there's very explicit sexuality happening in the Old Testament, particularly in Song of Solomon. You're talking about description of breasts, description of reproductive organs, and how awesome they are, and how tasty they are, and all the rest of it. And then, when you get to the New Testament, it's more restrictive, actually, which is interesting. The New Testament actually has a more restrictive sexual ethic than the Old Testament does. That's very fascinating.
That is interesting.
So that's something I'll be thinking about. But when it tells you, particularly women, to manage their sexuality, it's these among millions of other reasons. There's the physical contagion, there's the social contagion, there's the psychological contagion. I mean, it is just such and like one of the things that's the saddest thing in the world to me is, in order to justify secular sexuality, they've taken all the transcendence out of the act itself.
Oh yeah.
So like this guy. Yeah. He understands that hooking up with this girl is something deeper is happening than just two Homo sapiens in the reproductive act. Like he understands that something bigger is happening at the bar, bigger happening between him and this woman, and he doesn't have all the nomenclature for it. He's calling it the devil and all the rest of it. But he's understanding that this moment that he's about to spend with this woman is very, very significant. But we've completely bled out sexuality from all of its transcendent, amazing spiritual nature. It really has. It really, really has. He knew he had symptoms in 1986. This song was written in
3 years later.
1989.
Yeah.
So this is very real. He
knows
really that he's infected with HIV, and he knows that girl across the desk, her life is going to be ruined.
Oh, that's so awful.
And he's struggling as to whether or not he's literally struggling. Should I kill this girl tonight? Literally, that's what he's struggling with. It's unbelievable to me. The darkness and the
level of
soul.
Selfishness. Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. But you know what? I'm certain that God has used this song and the lyrics in this song to stop somebody from doing some crazy shit. Probably stopped a bunch of somebodies from doing crazy shit, because that's how God works. So, but I'm just blown away by this guy's selfishness. I got to tell you, like, I need time to think things over to heal my soul and ease the pain. So the way that he's dealing with his impending death is a bunch of alcohol, drugs, and sex. And on the one hand, like, I think it's a real you've got to be a really horrible, despicable person to do that. But on the other hand, people fight like they train. And what that means is, whatever you fall back on when you're stressed is what you're literally training your brain, new neural pathways, all that shit, to do.
Yep.
So this guy got himself in a cycle that anytime he's upset, he's going to go to some drug, he's going to go to some girl, he's going to go to his music.
Yep.
So he's living this great lifestyle, and that's his pattern every time he's in trouble. Then he gets some horrible call from the doctor. You're HIV positive. Now he's stressed. What's he going to do? Drugs, drinking, and sexuality goes along with that. I'm not excusing it. I think it's horrible, and I do not feel very confident for the state of this man's soul. Although, knowing the God that I know, he could very well be up there. Unbelievable. But he could be up there. But, like, it's mind-boggling to me, like, just when you look at human frailty and weakness.
Yeah.
Where I'm sure he wouldn't say, yeah, fucking kill that girl.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he's caught up, and he all this shit is swirling around him, and
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't have the self-control to stop it, and it's the only way he can medicate his pain
Mm-hmm.
in his mind. But he knows that what he's about to do to this girl is satanic. It's just a... Whew,
I think this line too.
it's a mind-boggling.
Whether or not I'm reading this line
amazing
correctly as
song.
for how he wrote it, it says imagination's running for too long. And then he goes deeper into the song. That was like within the first 5 lines. And your imagination and your mind is a lot of times a starting point for a lot of evil shit or a lot of good. So depending on what we're thinking about and we're spending our time, letting our minds kind of like fall into, that's gonna, a lot of times the evil things that have happened, like for instance, there's this thing that they used to tell us, like people will think X amount of times before they actually cheat on their significant other. They'll think about it.
Holy shit.
It was a lot. Like whatever the number was for men, I'm pretty sure the number was more, that women will think about cheating a lot more before they actually do it, and a man will think about it less before he actually does it. But still, the genesis of that cheating was in the mind. And I think that a lot of times I think that that's the genesis for a lot of evil. And, people start thinking about horrible things, and then, they start Googling that stuff, and, then all of a sudden they have inclinations toward raping other people, killing other people, doing stuff like that. But it started in their minds, and then like more and more steps get taken toward you get closer and closer and closer to doing that X, Y, and Z thing that's wrong to do. And if we don't exercise self-control in our minds, and we don't exercise self-control with all the other steps that follow, then inevitably death will follow. In whatever sense of it, it's going to follow in your life, in someone else's life. It's going to bring more pain to your life than you would have had you exercised the self-control.
Yeah.
And that's true of both parties, right? So he was spreading that AIDS around, but at the same time, the girl was in that situation as well because she wasn't exercising her own self-control. Whether that was because she wanted actual sex with him, maybe it's because she had a lust for power and she saw him as someone who could potentially, skyrocket her toward fame, fame or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody has their reasons for why they do them. And I think that a lot of times we have to look at why, stop and think about what we're going to do and what are the implications of what we're going to do. And sometimes it's not what will happen if I do this or that thing, but thinking what will happen if I don't do this or that thing is important to think about as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that it's a
really good point.
It's a thought-provoking song, especially given what you said. Like, he was symptomatic 3 years before. 3 years later, he's putting out this song where he's clearly still having a problem with it. And, literally RIP to the people that were in his path because he refused, to whatever degree he refused to exercise that self-control. Other people had to suffer and other families had to suffer for that, which is absolutely tragic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty tough. Tough stuff.
Overall, I wasn't really a fan of this song. Like, the sound of it was not really for me. I'm going to give this one an 8.6.
This is one of those songs where I would have loved to have seen this one live. I just love the guys' hair.
Well, you half saw it live.
I love the hair. I love the stage presence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker for live shows. I'm a sucker for
Right.
live rock and roll.
Right.
And I'm not going to let... I don't really know how I feel about this guy. Disdain, whatever it is. God knows if the person who infected him knew if he or she was infected too. I don't know. There's probably a whole subculture of... I could come up with a really dark serial killer...
Oh my gosh.
type story and subculture, right? But
That's so creepy, yo.
That's a whole other ball of wax. Horrible shit.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
But I do.
Honestly, you would be such an amazing, Netflix series writer.
And just sit down and just write.
I know.
I'm just gonna lock myself in a room and write for 5 hours.
Yeah, I think that when we,
I really need to do that.
probably the next phase of our life, when that phase takes takes off, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for
I think you're right.
artistic expression and stuff.
I think you're right. All right, so this is going to be 9.2 for me, actually.
Whoa, you still scored it really high. So you like that Jeep music, I guess.
No.
Then why did you score it so high?
I don't like Jeep music, and I don't like this guy. But overall, I thought the song was slamming as hell. It was really slamming. There wasn't one dud in this entire selection. Granted, there was only 5. But, yeah, that's my honest score. You guys know how I am with ratings. I don't play around. Mojo, it was just it's a good, solid song to end on. The other thing is, like, if I was in a concert, this is one of the things I think about. I don't tell you guys. But one of the things I think about for the first song and the last song is, does this fit in a concert? In other words, your first song has to be a banger, get your energy up. Your last song has to be not only a banger, but just something that the entire crowd can participate in for a good send-off. I never talk about that, but it's true. Like, that goes into my head because I look at it like a set list. And the way that Mojo created the set list, it was just perfect. Because you had that soft song right before. I know I'm rambling. You had the soft song right before. Then you had this stomping, like, crowd heavy one. It was just perfect. I loved it. All right. There you are, dear listener. Another DJ stream in the books. You don't have any pressure to be like DJ Mojo. If you come with a song selection of your own, I'm sure we're all going to love it. We're all going to jam to it. I was just saying, shout out to our DJ. Shout out to the big homie. And he deserves a couple of these, don't you think? Don't you think
especially for that 4th song. It's definitely
these?
My favorite. I really, really like that one. The Born Again one.
Boo boo! Yeah, I think Born Again was probably the song of the night. Probably.
Yeah, but I really like Dr. Butcher. I really, really like that band.
Yeah, you did. You really did.
All right, you guys, have a good night. Thanks for chilling with us. Hopefully we'll get better soon. And I still think we came through with the energy, even though we weren't feeling it. But the thing is, we had good music. So if it would have been some trash music, would have been Bach all night. What the fuck would I have done?
Amy left early.
I know. I saw that. I was like, I'm not going to do that to her, but it must be said.
Actually, it didn't need to be said.
She sent me another one for me to listen to. I might listen to it and put it up on Patreon.
Oh, you're going to react to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have a sorry secret reaction. A secret reaction.
It's not going to be a big, massive breakdown. It's just going to be like whether I liked it or not.
On Patreon. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.